Hello, good morning, students. Good morning to everyone. So let's not waste time and quickly finish off. Today we'll finish off the concept of budget line, okay? And then more or less we'll be covering up the cardinal and ordinal utility approach. Few more things will be there that we will do tomorrow. Then we can finish off the first unit. This was a big unit. So we can finish off that unit. Okay, after that we'll move on to the markets. So okay, let's not waste more time and we will discuss the budget line today. Okay, but before I start, I want to ask that what is a budget line? Who knows the answer? Please explain it to me in your own words. You can explain. Don't tell me the notes or the words which you could see on your screen and which was there in your Moodle, not those words, but in your own words, what do you think? What is budget line? In your own concept, till today, this is the third day we are doing budget line. No, second day, sorry. Yesterday we did budget line. So what are your assumptions or what are your understandings on the concept of budget line? Anyone who knows the answer, please unmute and tell me. What is a budget line? Please tell me.
Ma'am, it is the graphical representation of all possible combination of two goods which can be purchased with a given income.
Given income. Okay. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Combination of goods that can be purchased from and consumer's income. Yes. Income you're mentioning, two of you have mentioned, it's very good, but another thing is also there which you missed. Along with the income, the prices of the goods are also taken into consideration. Okay, these are the combination of goods having their fixed prices and the monthly income, overall month, not monthly, overall income of a consumer. Okay, so yeah, it's great that at least two of you have given me the answer, so I could also understand. Yes, you are understanding what I am talking about. Yes, you are correct. And this concept is coming from the indifference curves concept, where we saw that the consumers gives their preferences and they can say that which one they prefer more and which one is giving them the more satisfaction level, and different combinations of those satisfaction levels are plotted in different graphs, and those map is called an indifference map, in which many indifference curves are there, and for each indifference curve there can be a budget line. The budget line will come obviously from the indifference curves concept, because there the question of the level of satisfaction is there, but along with those only the satisfaction level and the combination of goods, the total income of a consumer and also the prices of the goods are also taken into consideration in budget line. That's it, nothing much difficult. It is a practical concept. Indifference curve has some practical concepts in there, and this budget line is trying to ignore or omit or remove those impracticable assumptions in the indifference curves, and they are saying that and the budget line is saying that no, yes, it is true, although the consumer has different level of satisfaction by combining different combinations of goods, but he cannot choose that combination open-handedly without having any limitations. He cannot do that. There are some limitations within which he will have to select the best combination of the purchase of good X and good Y. What are those two limitations? The first limitation is his income, and the second limitation is the prices of the commodities. Okay, so this is the concept of budget line. With that, now we had seen yesterday that the budget line looks like a straight line. The slope also we had understood how the slopes are calculated. This was the looks of a budget line. It was a straight line which was showing you certain combinations of goods, within the income, that line in under which this is falling, that is the boundary of the income, and the different prices of the goods are also considered over here, and then only the quantity of good X and Y are calculated. And anything which the consumer cannot buy a combination of goods which is beyond this straight line. It cannot be at the right hand side of the straight line, but it has to be always either in the straight line or at the left hand side or at the lower side of the straight line. Okay, because that is the constraint. Beyond this, the consumer's combination or the choice of the combination of the goods cannot go. Then we will today study the shifts concept. What will happen with the budget line shifts, or how it shifts, that we will study today. The budget line is determined by the income level of consumers and the prices of goods in the market. This line, we are all well aware of this line. The budget line shifts. Now, when the budget line will shift? It will shift if there is a change in the income and the prices. Isn't it? The budget line is only going to shift if either the income of the consumer increases, then it will go upward, or the price of the goods decreases, then also it may go upward, right? Or if the income of the consumer decreases, then the budget line will also go up, downward, or the prices of the goods increases given the fixed level of income, then also the budget line will come downward. Those things will happen and we will study that. So there can be two cases. One is the change in income and one is the change in prices. That will give rise to your just a second, that will give rise to your shift in the budget line. Okay, so we will start with the case 1, when there will be a change in income. Suppose there is a change, this is a change, okay, this is not charge. Suppose there is a change in the income of the consumer and the price of the goods remains same. The budget line would shift from the original position, right? If there is a rise in income, the budget line would shift upward to the right. On the other hand, if there is a fall in income, the budget line would shift downward to the left. That is what I was saying, no? You see in the figure that this figure shows a shift in budget line due to the changes in the income. This figure is actually depicting the fact. The fact is, still people are joining in. Where were you people? You're joining now. Where were you? You're so late. 13 minutes late. Okay, so from the figure it can be seen that a rise in income shifts the budget line from AB. Say this middle one, AB was the original budget line, and there is a rise in income. Then the budget line will shift from AB to A dash B dash, right? And a fall in income shifts the budget line from AB to A double dash B dash, double B dash, isn't it? So if the income changes, if the income rises, also the boundary will rise because income is increasing given the fixed price. Prices are same, but income is increasing. The budget line will also increase. This is a fact. If the income decreases, then the budget line will shift downward to the A double dash B double dash. It was at A B first. If there is an increase, it will reach to A dash B dash. And if there is a decrease, it will reach down to A double dash B double dash. Okay, this will be B double dash, okay, in the graph. So this is the first case. If there is a change in income, then this shifting will occur. Then case 2 is the change in prices. What will happen? Now if there is a change in price, suppose there is a change in the price of a good, say good X. Now say good X's price is only increasing and the income and price of good Y are constant. Now the price of good X is only changing. It's not that both the prices of good X and good Y are changing. If price of good X is only changing, if the price of good X is only, na class on করে দিয়েছি, class on হয়ে গেছে, পাপাকে বলো video on করে দিতে. So if there is a change in only the price of the good X and good Y's price is constant and also the income is same. Those were same. Those whatever it was beforehand, still now also they are same. The income of the consumer and the price of good Y. Only the price of good X is changing. Then what? Let us see what will be the looks of the graph now. If there is a fall in the price of good X, then the consumer can buy more of good X with the same income, isn't it? If the consumer wants to buy more of good X, he can do so because the price of good X has fallen. Now see, look at the diagram. This figure shows the shift in the budget line due to change in the price of good X. Here you see, when the price of good X falls, this would make the budget line to move flatter and rightward from AB to AB double dash. It was AB, previously it was AB. Now you can buy more units of good X because the price of it has fallen, right? The price of good X has fallen. That's why you can buy more number of units of good X. That's why your curve, although the point A will not change because good Y's price is still the same, but there will be a shift in the budget line from the previous one towards the right because your budget has increased due to the fall in the price of good X. This will be looking a flatter one. Had it been increase in the prices of decrease in the prices of both good X and good Y, then it would have been steeper as before. But there was an decrease only in the price of good X. That is why it is a flatter one, and because this point A is fixed, point A on the Y axis is fixed. That is why it is looking a flatter one. Also, in other case, the price of good X increases. If the price of good X increases now, the budget line will have to decrease now because you cannot buy much number of units of good X because its price has increased. That's why the budget line will also shift to the left. That is from AB to AB dash now. Understood? Is it clear? Now you can do it other way also. If you want to keep the price of good X constant and good Y you want to increase, you can do it other way also. Okay, so if this question comes, you should draw the diagram and then explain it in this manner, in the way you are seeing on your screen. Okay, you have to explain by taking the example and also plotting the examples concepts in the figure. Then you will explain this. Okay. Any doubt you can ask. Now let us understand the reaching of consumers equilibrium through the concept of indifference curve and budget line, both at the same time. Okay. Now what is consumers equilibrium? First of all, the consumers equilibrium is the point at which consumer attains maximum satisfaction. Now, what is the equilibrium point? If you want to speak about from the point of view of indifference curve and the budget line, the equilibrium is that point at which the consumer will attain the maximum satisfaction. A consumer is said to be in equilibrium when the budget line touches indifference curve with given price and income. Now, the budget line looks a straight line, and indifference curves looks like a flattered U shape, but little tilted towards the northeast corner. So, when you plot both this figure in a single graph, then the budget line which is touching on an indifference curve, it can be any one, the point at which the budget line is touching the indifference curve, it would be somewhat like a tangent. The point at which the budget line is touching the indifference curve with given price and income of the consumer, that point is called the equilibrium point, or that level is called the equilibrium level. Let us study in detail. The consumer's equilibrium to indifference curve and the budget line has been shown in this figure. Okay. In the figure, there are three indifference curves. You can see there are three indifference curves. One is IC1, IC2 and IC3. Right? This we have seen beforehand also in indifference map. We have seen this image where there are so many indifference curves. The budget line AB. Now let us talk about the budget line AB. The budget line looks like this. We have known by now that the budget line looks like this. So the budget line AB is tangent to which curve? It is tangent to IC2, isn't it? It is touching IC2 and it is a tangent one. Okay, the budget line AB is tangent to IC2 at the point C. At this level, a consumer attains maximum satisfaction level at OE of good Y and OF units of good X. Now this is the point. Now it has to be a tangent one. Okay, it is not that it will touch any of the indifference curve at any point and that point will be equilibrium. This line has not been focused, but you should understand and you should remember that the budget line should touch the indifference curve in a way that it is becoming a tangent to that indifference curve. Tangent thing, you know, I think let me tell you again. Tangent is it will be a straight line. Those who are good in geometry, they'll know it better than me. That a tangent is a straight line which touches a curve or a shape, any shape. It has to be a curve, obviously. That straight line which touches a curve at a single point. That is a tangent, right? So when this budget line will touch the indifference curve and become a tangent, that point has to be considered, not these other points. Okay. So when we plotted the budget line and plotted the indifference curves also, we saw that the budget line AB in this example is touching the indifference curve IC2. The second one, it is touching and becoming a tangent. At this level, the consumer, it is said that at this point, the consumer will attain the maximum satisfaction. How will you now define the number of units of the quantities of good X and good Y? Simple. You will draw one perpendicular line on the y-axis and one perpendicular line on the x-axis from that tangent point. Okay. And then that point you will calculate and that will give you the number of units of good X and good Y. In this figure, you saw that from the tangent, we are drawing this perpendicular line CF on x-axis and CE on the y-axis. Thus, we can say that this OF number of units of good X is the number of units of that if the consumer purchase or if the consumer consumes, and OE number of units of good Y if the consumer consumes that, then this OE and OF of good Y and good X respectively is going to give the consumer highest level of satisfaction given his income and the prices of the goods X and good Y. Understood? This is the first condition for the consumer to be in equilibrium, that indifference curve should touch the budget line. The second condition is that, now this was the first condition. First condition is what? The budget line should touch the indifference curve at a point then only the consumer is said to be in equilibrium. The second condition, what is the second condition? The second condition is that the slope of budget line should be equal to the slope of indifference curve. This is another condition, okay? We will solve sums on this, then you will understand it better that there is a second condition also, and that is that the slope of budget line should be equal to the slope of indifference curve. Slope. Now, what is the slope of budget line? We have calculated in the yesterday. We have seen how to calculate the slope of a budget line. This is given by px by py. That means price of good x by price of good y. And slope of indifference curve is calculated by del y by del x, which is also called the marginal rate of substitution of x and y. Right? This we have calculated. If you were writing in your copy, if you are writing the notes also that I have given you, you will know that the slope of indifference curve is called the marginal rate of substitution of x and y. Thus, px by py has to be equals to mrsy. That is change in y by change in x. That has to be equals to the number that you will achieve by dividing the price of x by price of y. Understood? So if this condition is satisfied, and if also the condition of touching the indifference curve as a tangent by the budget line, these two conditions are satisfied, then you can say that the consumer is in equilibrium. What does it indicate? If a consumer is said to be in equilibrium, it indicates that he is achieving the maximum level of satisfaction given his income and prices of the goods, prices of the combination of goods X and good Y. Okay. So, all right then, let us end this class here. In this discussion here. We may continue with the class. If you have any question, you can ask, or if you want to say anything to me regarding the classes, regarding any doubts, the assignments which I am giving you, anything you want to tell me, you can tell. We have some time in hand. So let us discuss. Did you have your first and second class?
Yes, ma'am.
You had, okay. And what is the fourth period you have? Environment.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then I'm going to college from 1st of October, that is day after tomorrow. If anyone wants to come and meet me, you just call me, okay? Do not come by, better than call, you text me that, ma'am, are you there? Can we come, like that? Then I'll tell, yes, you come, there's no crowd. It will also not be good to make crowd. If you have any doubt that are not, that you're not getting cleared by the online classes, you can come and visit us in the college. Okay, we are going to college from 1st of October, that is day after tomorrow. Okay, any doubt in the assignments that I'm giving? In this week's assignment, the answers are given, but I told you yesterday also, if you want to write it in a better way, please go ahead. It's not that whatever I have given that you have to write, because that is a copied material. I'm not able to access books. So I'm giving from the internet material, but they are from good sources. They are from topper.com, and some CBSE question paper solutions were also there. From there, I have just copied, but I could not get time to properly go through them. So if you are thinking that I have better answers, I have better books, I can write it in a better way, please go ahead. Okay, I will check and tell you that yes, you can write this. Very good. Okay. All right, then let us end this class here. So again, we'll meet tomorrow with the leftover portions of these units. If there is any, I will see. If not, then we'll move on to the next chapter. Okay. And problems will be there from the, problems will be there. Yeah, let me see what to do tomorrow. I'll plan it out. Bye-bye then for today. See you again tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.